ourselves in danger.
You can't play games with someone who has mastered the art of detachment. You just can't. See, this type of person has already mastered the understanding that everything has an expiration date, not subconsciously. See, these thoughts play in their daily thoughts. This is their reality on a daily basis. This person has already taken so many losses, and so many people have already let them down. So when they come into your life, they are being genuine, showing up 100% and ready to give you their all, ready to love you properly. But when you come in with these games, they will sniff you out like blood in an ocean, and very, very quickly. They don't have time for these things, and they are not afraid of losing anything. So all these dating games and 3 days on and off and ghosting and silent treatment, the only person who's going to be losing anything is you. You have to keep in mind, they've already been on the receiving end of so many disingenuous people. So please, when this person comes into your life, have good intentions. Do right by them. Because if not, and let me hold your hand when I say this, you're going to play yourself out of having a good person in your life.
Never help a person who is committed to the story that suits their dysfunction. The truth is, a person with a victim mindset will never achieve a victory, simply because you will always sabotage what you don't believe you deserve. You cannot help a person who is infatuated with hurting themselves, because choosing not to be better is intentionally choosing to be bitter. So you have to distance yourself so that you don't lose yourself in the mess of helping them.
There's a conversation I wish was very open all my life, but I'm here to set someone else free today. There are people who don't like you. They don't even know why they don't like you. Did you know that? There are people who are committed to finding faults within you, even when you have not intentionally offended them. I had to coach a young lady this week and say to her, stop spreading yourself around like confetti, trying to convince other people that you're nice and kind. As long as you know those who are committed to not liking you or being unkind to you, they're going to do it anyway. Be you, do you, for you, and for the others, let them go. Say bye. No explanation needed.
If that. Many of us are very accurate in our discernment. But because of other people, they have forced us into a position where we do not believe our own discernment, and we put ourselves in danger.
You don't have to always explain yourself to individuals. Explaining yourself may or may not change the way someone look at you or feel about you. But one thing you can know for sure is they will choose what they want to believe. And you still most definitely may have to live through the afflictions of whatever they decide to do that is unclean and evil. It's very rare someone just take your word for it, unfortunately. You can tell someone they're beautiful, a woman to another woman. The enemy may attack her mind and make her think that you're a lesbian, and you're simply just saying she's beautiful as you feel about yourself. But people put out what's inside of them. So if she don't feel beautiful and you're telling her she's beautiful, then it's her. And what she believes about herself is what she will believe, and she will afflict you with her negative thoughts going out into the energy in the air, and you will be afflicted because she'll assume you're a lesbian. Then you're going to get a visit from the spirit of perversion. That's how it goes.
There was a lady at my job. She was in charge. You know, she was one of the heads at work. And this lady knew I was being picked on by other employees. She knew I was being picked on by coworkers and other supervisors, supervisors that were above me. So she knew me complaining to my supervisors wouldn't help, because if my supervisor is a part of the issue, then she knew really a lot of odds was against me, and going over all of their heads was the best thing to do, which she was the head. So I had already superseded all of their heads and told her the details, and she watched and she kept her eyes open, and she like, dang, she's telling the truth. And like, but I can't, discipline all of these people just for one person. That was kind of her thoughts in her head. This is what she expressed to me. But she also expressed to me that one day it was she said she came up to our floor and she pulled me to the side. She said, "Do you remember that day?" I said, "Yeah, I remember that day." And she was like, "Oh, you're a prophetess." And I'm like, "I don't, like to be called that. I don't see why you calling me that, And she said, "Well, you can't run from it. You can't run from it." I said, "I don't feel like I'm running from anything. I feel like I'm on the path that the Lord wants me on, And she said, she told me that she wanted to place her hands on me and pray for me or with me or however. And I said, that would have been amazing. Why didn't you? She said, "I wanted to pray for you. I wanted to hug you. But I thought you would think that I was weird or some type of lesbian." I said, "I would have never thought that. I would have never thought you were weird. I would have never thought you were a lesbian. You allowed the devil to attack your mind." And that's exactly what I told her. And she said, "Why do you say that?" I said, "Why did you have the thought? Why didn't you just lay your hands on me and pray for me? Why didn't you wrap your arms around me and hug me tightly? Because that particular day you're speaking of, I needed that." Facts. Don't let the devil play with you.
Me at least, I knew that shit was getting scary when I started to watch black men comparing themselves to women. And I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of this sassy and zesty conversation because there's a lot of zest sitting over here. So I ain't got call it for what it is. A lot of zest and sass over here. But I would never try to put me in the same sentence as a woman. And I was scrolling through my phone the other day and I saw a man talking to a woman. He said, "Look at you and look at me. Do you think that you're worth me?" Is what he said to her. Whoa. And I said, "Oh gosh, shit is getting scary. Where you think that you should be in competition with a woman." And I think what a lot of that has to do with, and why I bring up that jealousy part, is because women have made strides when technically they were supposed to be behind. We lived in a day in society where that woman wouldn't have been allowed to vote, but she would have been. Still, you sit your ass at home when it came time. We live in a society where we all could not get an education. Now we do. A black woman is highly more educated than a black man can ever be. We live in a society where men statistically are supposed to be making more money, including that black man. But she makes 10 times more than you. I think the dichotomy is you showed up not being man enough, and she's being every bit of the man that you were supposed to be. And now you can sit in front of baby girl face to face and say, "What are you bringing to the table?" When I thought the niggas were supposed to build it.
Damn. And, when you see people on the street asking for money, don't look at them with contentment. Don't look at them as if saying, "I'm not going to give you anything. You need to work for it." But understand that they are obviously less fortunate than you are. I always tell people that they wouldn't be out there if they had it well, right? They wouldn't be sitting on the street asking for money if they had plenty of it. Now, the only thing that really makes me like kind of angry on the inside, and I don't know what to do with this. And I seen this the other day, and I had to talk to God and say, like, how do I respond to this? I don't like to see, women that sit on the street asking for money with their children with them. And those ones are tricky, because I do know for a fact that if you have children, you take priority for shelters. I know that because I used to live in a shelter when I was younger. You take priority when you have children. And so there's a question that, like, are these people that are with children asking for money in a way to manipulate people, right? In a way to get free money without really needing it. And that question is one that I'm working on in my heart, trying to figure out why they're sitting out there with their children in the hot sun or in the cold weather, and whether or not they are actually needing the money. I know that they may not have a lot of money or they wouldn't sit out there, but there is a lot of help for those that have children. And that situation is tricky for me, but that's the only one. As far as everyone else that are homeless, specifically men, even, women that are there by themselves, we can give what we can, because they wouldn't be out there if they had in abundance. They wouldn't be out there.
Let's understand something. When I see a woman and children homeless on the street asking for help, money, food, in the back of my head, I ask myself, where's her faith? And instead of just thinking about it, I'll actually walk up to the woman and I'll say, do you believe in God? Do you believe in Jesus Christ? And I have experience being snapped on, leave it there. Experience being snapped on. Okay. So that my question was answered. So instead of assuming or wondering where the individual's faith was, I asked, do that individual believe in God or Jesus Christ? And my question was answered by pursuing that thought to find out where the woman's faith is. I found out she has no faith in Jesus Christ in the details of the snapping. So a lot of the time, people get in a position like that, not only just because of, how can I say? Now we have a lot of people talking about witchcraft and the poverty spells and different things that go on like that. Okay, I think that's legit. But at the same time, let's understand something. The guy in the other video said it just, he just don't believe a woman with children has any reason to be asking for help on the streets. Okay? And he's solid with the way he feel, because he feel like he's been in a shelter, and he feel like shelters give women with children a higher, picking, like they, have seniority. Not true. Not true. A woman with children don't have seniority in a homeless shelter. A man with children don't have seniority in a homeless shelter. A family with children don't have seniority in a homeless shelter. Let me tell you facts. Who has seniority in a homeless shelter? Someone that is fleeing domestic violence. 2, someone who is being rescued from sex trafficking. 3, someone who is trying to recover from drug and alcohol abuse. 4, someone who is dealing with a traumatic situation in life. And what you find to be traumatic may not be traumatic enough, or on their list of traumatic things that someone should get accepted into a shelter for. Those are the facts. So children, it's not pity for the system or the government-funded programs that provide transitional housing, for the government-funded programs that provide shelters with their funding in order to help the homeless. You have to be in a traumatic situation. Even a veteran don't get seniority if the veteran is not going through something mental or traumatic. Can't just be a homeless veteran. So you will see a lot of them chilling on the side of the street too, and not being accepted into a transitional program for veterans because their situation is not traumatic enough. Okay? So if you see a woman with children asking for help, the only thing that I will probably wonder is, where is her faith at? Because 211, now I'm about to expose 211. And it's not too many people exposing things like this. So this is an unpopular opinion, right? So the experience I have had, which don't make this an opinion to me, right? 211 can fall under many categories, but in this category that I'm speaking on is when you pick up the phone in your city or your town and you're homeless and someone say call the helpline. The helpline in Missouri, in most states, is 211. Now, they do have a 1-800 number that sends you to 211 also, but check it. 211 will ask you, how did you become homeless? And these series of questions will categorize you for what they need to find for you, what they need to search for you, which type of shelter should they run through the line for you, you know, and see how they can get you accepted in 211. So 211 is the scapegoat for this type of situation. And with the details that you give 211, if your details is simply you lost your job and you have not been able to get another job fast enough to sustain your bills and secure your income in order to not lose everything, and that is how you became homeless due to a domino effect of you not being able to find a job fast enough to secure your income to keep your bills and your rent paid. So you experienced a domino effect and you became homeless, you and your children. So 211 don't got nothing for you. What they will do is look up the shelters for regular homeless people, and most of the time those shelters are overpacked and full, very full. You got the same story. Now what happened to me is I called 211 so much that I became somebody that they knew. I didn't have to give too much. I didn't even have to give my story no more. I say my name. You're on a recorded line, so certain things they have to continuously ask and you have to continuously answer, like your name, your age, your kid's age, and the reason that you are homeless. Now, I got to the point where I didn't have to tell all my details no more on why I was homeless. It was just simply due to not having a job or no secure income to be able to support my living. It was at that point, you know. And they will ask, where did you stay last night? And if you say that you stayed in a hotel, it's not severe enough. If you say that you stayed at a friend's house, it's not severe enough. If you say that you stayed at a stranger's house who allowed you to you know, sleep on the couch, it's not severe enough. If you say that you slept outside or you were outside, you and your kids, that is the point where they will find you a shelter immediately. Right? Now, don't be fooled. Although they found you immediate shelter, don't mean you are safe. Let's get to the details. They will find you immediate shelter. You get accepted into a transitional program. As a single woman with kids, you get knocked over the head with a whole lot of questions. And these questions can either put someone in jail, or it depends on how you answer these questions. Let's understand that. It depends on how you answer these questions. It can either put someone in jail or put you in a position to where you get your kids taken, or put you in a position to where you get thrown in a mental facility and also your kids taken. So it's so many different things you need to read in between the lines and catch. Okay? So I'm going to point out some. So the way that you can almost or put somebody in jail is they ask you, are you fleeing domestic violence? If you say no, then they'll ask you, are you running away from sex trafficking, or being, somehow got away from someone who was sex trafficking you? And you say no, then they go to the next question, are you dealing with drugs and alcohol? You say no, then they go to the next question and say, well, what can we help you with other than what we're already helping you with, which is shelter. And in shelter, they give you food, showers, somewhere to wash clothes. So basically, whatever they are not already helping you with, they're asking you to tell them what is it that you need help with. And if it's nothing, then you just limited your days in their shelter. You probably got a week to get out. Depending on if they pity you enough, they'll let you stay a full 90 days. Maybe 120 days. Depending on if they like you or not. How you rub them. So, let's go back to the first one, domestic violence. If you, because you could get kicked out right in that moment if you don't have one of these severe things going on. So just know that you could get turned right back out the door the day after they let you sleep one night. If you're not dealing with domestic violence, sex trafficking, a mental condition, drugs and alcohol abuse, if you're not dealing with none of those things, they'll let you stay one night, and then you and your kids have to figure out where to go after that, so keep that in mind. So let's go back to domestic violence. Domestic violence. If you tell them you are fleeing domestic violence, they want to know all the details to that. They want to know all the details to that. And if you are fleeing domestic violence, I don't see why you wouldn't want to tell them all the details to that. But if you are lying in order to get shelter, which most women do, if you are lying to get shelter, which most women do, then you will make up a story. Either you already knew through somebody who told you that you can get into a transitional homeless program, and they'll give you an apartment, they'll give you this and they'll give you that. All you have to do is ... Then you just put somebody in jail. Because the person that you claim did you wrong, whatever the domestic violence was, whatever story you come up with, that person, you have to give them that name. And they will pursue that person. Last location or the actual location where that person is. Some people say, oh, you can just lie about the name too. I'm pretty sure they got that down packed, sweetheart. They know people can lie on people, right? So that means once they pursue all of them ends that you gave them and it come back lies, then you done got you and your kids in a worse situation. Check that out. So it's the same thing with fleeing sex trafficking and also drug and alcohol abuse and all of that. Some people, ooh, that drug and alcohol abuse is something tricky, ain't it? If you're completely clean, you don't do drugs or alcohol. You're not dealing with domestic violence. You're not dealing with sex trafficking. So the easiest thing that a weak-minded person with no faith in God will do is go smoke some weed. Go drink some alcohol. Because in order for you to get accepted into a transitional program that deals with drug and alcohol abuse recovery, that will probably get you shelter, apartment, all of these different things, especially if you got kids. In order to get into those things, you have to drop dirty. You have to drop dirty. If you got a clean system because you don't do none of that, then it's up to you whether if you're going to go and do it so you can get shelter or stand with the Lord. That's what I call it. Stand with God. Stand with the Lord. Don't lie. Don't come up with no lies. Don't do that. But guess what? Standing with God gonna get you the same treatment I got, which is not getting accepted into the programs. And when God blasts that door open for you to get accepted, it will be the most unique door that you would have ever experienced in your life. I'm telling you, stand on God because it's real and it works. You don't have to come up with some lie about domestic violence to get into these transitional programs. I know. I'm proof. You don't have to lie and say you're fleeing sex trafficking. I know. I'm proof. You don't have to go do no drugs and start drugs to get on anything, to get into any program that helps you with living or getting back on your feet, because God can do all that. I know. I'm proof. Have faith, trust, because every single body around you will be trying to sow in their spirit of doubt because they're not going through it. Just like the man said in the video, he said he just can't see how a woman with children can be on the streets asking for help. My only assumption, my only question is, where is her faith? Because God takes care of his. God takes care of his. I'm proof. Witchcraft, sorcery, all of that, witches and warlocks, all that stuff is real. But God is too. And God said we already won. Keep your faith in me. Don't focus on the enemy. I got you. Keep your faith into the end. And the devil gets stronger the closer it gets. The nightfall. Say you need to find shelter for you and your kids before the sun go down. Oh man, the devil working on you all day. So what you need to be doing all day, you need to be preaching, talking about God, staying in prayer, keeping your faith on 100. Because when night fall, the Lord is going to send you a miracle. Before nightfall, the Lord may send you a miracle. You have to keep your faith noble. Because witchcraft and sorcery don't triumph over God. I'm proof. Anybody that may have tried to put any spells on me, you may have afflicted me, but you never won. You may have afflicted me, but you never won. Job went through affliction. Everybody went through affliction who marched for God. Moses went through affliction. Joseph went through affliction. Joshua went through affliction. Everybody went through affliction. There is not one chosen person in the Bible who did not go through affliction. Look up what affliction is. Learn what affliction is so that you can know that regardless on the afflictions, the enemy has not won. Stand on faith. Know that you are taken care of, because you can't serve two masters. Somebody may have put a poverty spell on you, got you losing all your money, got you not getting hired nowhere, got everybody turning their backs on you, looking down on you, treating you like a dog. There are more afflictions. That's the enemy trying to put more fire on your back, hoping that you give up, hoping that you give in. Oh, she got to lose her faith if this job don't hire her. Oh, she got to lose her faith if we get her kids taken from her. Oh, she got to lose her faith if, come on. Afflictions can be deep. Afflictions can run deep. People put witchcraft on your whole family, rip your whole family apart, tear your kids away from you, everything and above. Affliction can be deep. Job's whole family burned up in a fire. He lost everything. There was a man in the shelter that I was staying in, right? I was staying in this shelter, me and my kids. And I had never seen a man taking care of all five of his kids by himself. I'm like, dang, where's that woman at? What's going on? Is she dead? I'm just wondering, like, why is this man by himself taking care of these 5 kids? And all 5 of these kids look just like him. They all gave him, got to. But I'm wondering where this woman at. So I asked this man, I said, we was both in a cafeteria area together. And I said, do you believe in God? He said, he named all of these Egyptian gods. He also told me, after he named all of these Egyptian gods, he said, at this point, I don't believe in nothing. Because he said he don't believe he should have went through any of the things that he has been through. And I said, so you don't care to try to get to know Jesus? He said he didn't want to hear nothing about him. I said, my God. So sometimes you just got to ask yourself, where's that person's faith? And then, if you have the opportunity, ask them, do they believe in God? You ain't got to walk up to them and say, do you have faith? No. Just walk up to them and say, do you believe in God? You ain't got to walk up to them and say, oh, God told me this and that. No, you ain't got to do that. Walk up to them and just say, do you know who Jesus Christ is? Or do you believe in Jesus Christ? Do you believe in God? Jesus Christ is really, that's the gateway right there. Because without Jesus Christ, your prayers are void. The Lord said the only way is through my son, who I'm giving you the sacrifice for your sins and your salvation. The blood, every stripe, is for you to be saved. So through Jesus Christ is the gateway to the Most High God. So once you accept Jesus Christ into your life as your Lord and Savior, then you have direct access to the Most High God only through Jesus Christ, not through Buddha, Muhammad, or none of them other ones. You can call yourself an Israelite. You can do all of these different things. But if you don't accept Jesus Christ into your life as your Lord and Savior, who provided a way for your salvation and your sins to be forgiven, then you got some more ways to go. And God so loved you so much that even in physical death, you still got an opportunity to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. But hopefully you will have to experience losing your fleshful shell before you learn that.
Dear Jesus,